Gavin Cooper's first love has returned to the country. The CEO's mother slid a check across the table. The real deal is back. Time for this imitation to disappear. 10 million. Leave my son. I studied the check. Frowning. What? Not enough? She snapped. 20 million. Get out of my son's life. I inhaled sharply. 30 million. If you refuse again, I'll. Deal. I'm gone. I cut her off mid-threat. Always know when to quit. Honestly, 10 million would have been fine. But who knew she'd start bidding against herself? I'll pack tonight. Just 2 conditions. The silver-haired matriarch scowled, clearly expecting greedy demands. First, wire transfer only. No paper checks. Second, we draft a legally binding gift agreement with notarization. Before I finished speaking, she'd already summoned the family lawyer via speed dial. The Cooper family's legal advisor materialized in 2 minutes flat. Contract in hand. I meticulously reviewed the document as my own attorney had coached me last night. Everything checked out. I signed. Smart move choosing the cafe next to the notary office for this meeting. We walked straight over and got everything stamped within 20 minutes. My phone chimed with the sweetest notification sound known to mankind. $30. 000 000 deposited. Cooper efficiency never disappoints. I waved cheerfully at the stone-faced matriarch's departing limousine before sprinting 3 blocks to the tax office. Civic duty first. The capital gains tax deduction hurt worse than a breakup text. But my patriotic spirit burned brighter than ever. The IRS agent actually waved goodbye as I left. Come again, her smile seemed to say. My phone buzzed the moment I stepped onto the sidewalk. MS. Riley? Your airport transfer has arrived. Right on schedule. When I promise same-day departure, I deliver. From TSA pre-check to champagne in first class. Everything flowed smoother than aged bourbon. I finally checked my messages during cruise altitude. 3 texts from Gavin glared from my screen. Have the housekeeper prepare the guest suite. Luna's arriving tonight. 2 hours ago. 1 hour ago. Riley. Stop this childish game. 30 minutes ago. Oops. Got distracted counting zeros. My fingers flew across the screen. Just securing your family's generational wealth. Sweetheart. P.S. Luna's room is ready. Left the key under your Porsche's floor mat. The flight attendant refilled my champagne flute as turbulence hit. Or maybe that was my conscience rattling. Gavin wants to bring Luna back to live at my place? Doesn't that mean he'll discover I'm gone and find our home completely stripped bare? Ever since learning Luna had returned last week, I've been busy. While Gavin was picking her up from the airport, I had luxury resellers hauling away furniture. During their high-profile appearances, I liquidated jewelry collections. By the time he announced Luna's executive position at Cooper Group, I'd already liquidated all my assets in City A. Even Gavin's mother tried buying me off, though unlike naive Luna years ago, I consulted lawyers to ensure those goodbye funds stayed legally mine. The Cooper matriarch never imagined her son would replace his precious Luna with someone she despised even more. My existence actually made Luna look acceptable by comparison. Heartbroken and financially coerced, I planned to disappear quietly with my hard-earned millions. But why is Gavin suddenly fixated on moving Luna into my empty penthouse? The answer appeared during my layover. Luna's new Twitter account at Luna Pierce posted, "Everything's still familiar. The painting I gifted him remains." The photo showed my former living room now barren except for the sofa and that damned artwork the appraisers rejected. Turns out the dusty canvas I'd lived with for years was Luna's creation. My phone buzzed with Gavin's fury as I stood outside Euphoria Club, G-City's most exclusive playground, running away. Riley? Seems I've spoiled you too much these past 2 years. Clever as he is with corporate lawyers, I'd documented every gift and transaction. Still, I'm spending fast before he finds legal loopholes. Why cling to his arrogant old money pride when Euphoria's champagne room offers Yunxiao's princely charm, Qing Yuan's walnut-cracking abs, and Baimei's piano mastery? His latest text vibrated against Yunxiao's chest as the model carried me to VIP seating, ignoring me after 1 week's neglect. You've grown bold. Qing Yuan's tattooed hands popped bottle caps with his teeth while Baimei improvised Chopin, smirking at my flushed face. Let the Cooper air rage. These 20-something Adonises know better than to take their benefactors for granted. Riley Grace. Well done. How annoying. I blocked Gavin with my left hand. My right hand wasn't idle either. The persistent Qing Yuan insisted his six-pack abs looked better cracking walnuts than playing piano, making me feel how hard they were. I woke up in a luxurious penthouse suite, groggily pressing the bedside button to summon an entourage of staff who flooded in with everything from toiletries to outfit choices like time traveling to an aristocratic manner. TSK. Does Gavin know you're playing runaway heiress with these antics? Mocked the man leaning against the doorway. His peach blossom eyes, aquiline nose, and thin lips stereotypically screamed charmer and heartbreaker. Yet Hudson, against all odds, remained the story's devoted second lead. According to the plot, after Luna's return and her flirtations with Gavin drove me away heartbroken, I'd come to City G, struggling to rebuild my life while Luna sabotaged every job and apartment hunt. I'd meet Hudson at my lowest, the wealthiest playboy in G-City, inexplicably drawn to my resilience. He'd help, fall for me, then tragically sacrifice his family's lucrative A-City ventures to reunite me with Gavin. Not in this awakened timeline. Months ago, I'd sought out Hudson as gaming buddies. I mirrored his interests, becoming his regular teammate while showcasing a personality polar opposite to the original Meek, blushing violet. Now I cracked dirty jokes, shamelessly propositioned hot gamers, and weaponized none of your damn business like mantras. Rich kids fear comparisons and allowance cuts. Though Hudson stopped worrying lately, the Ford family's Southwest expansion, particularly in a city, flourished through our collaboration. His father offered corporate positions, but Hudson just wanted cash. As the staff cleared breakfast, Hudson lounged in the parlor relishing his improved standing with old money. I snatched his spoon. You idiot! My interest wasn't guilt or romantic revenge. Those business tips weren't for his allowance. With nearly $100 million siphoned from the Coopers, I needed bigger fish. The Fords were my best bet, pocket change to conglomerates like the Cooper and Ford families. Even with this money, there's no guarantee Gavin or his mother from the Cooper family won't change their minds. If they decide to reclaim it, I'd be powerless against their influence. I need the Ford family's backing and their resources to grow my own ventures. Sure, I'm aware of the original storyline's developments, but without proper business connections, even millions could get crushed by the big players overnight. I leaned closer to Hudson, my voice coaxing. Think about it, cash runs out. Then you're back to begging your dad for handouts. And your brother? Sharp as a tack. Just because you're not competing doesn't mean he'll play nice. What if your father hands him the entire company in 2 years? You'll be left empty-handed, dependent on his whims. Hudson's expression shifted. So I should take over those subsidiaries? But managing companies is so much work. I just want to be a carefree rich kid. He groaned. No wonder the original story's protagonist dismissed him. Zero ambition. All playboy. Without parental protection, he'd be devoured in the family power games. Gavin might have been blind to true love, but at least he's a competent CEO. Not that either impresses me, I'd rather admire Yin Zhao's waistline, Qing Yuan's abs, or Bei Mi's pianist hands. Focus. Riley. Seal the deal first. I offered to become Hudson's executive assistant, handling the nitty-gritty while he reaped profits. Over months of strategic advice, I'd already proven my value. He agreed instantly. Smart move. Riley. No wonder you survived working for Gavin. Rolling my eyes, I changed topics. Where's tonight's party spot? His grin returned. My turf. My rules. Heard you liked last night's company? Wait till you see tonight's upgrade. The venue stunned me, no neon lights, but a Baroque-style palace guarded by 6-foot-tall guards with model legs. Live orchestra music floated through jasmine-scented air. Then I froze. Across the marble floor, a familiar face turned our way. Friend of yours? Hudson followed my gaze. I hesitated. Sort of. Not really. Holy shit! Isn't that the hot young heartthrob from last year's viral drama? I even had a brief phase where I obsessed over his looks. He comes here too? I blurted out. Stunned. Never judge a book by its cover. I always thought he was the innocent, puppy-eyed type. They're all here to work, Hudson stated bluntly. Wait. What? If you like him, I'll have him keep you company later, Hudson said, looking at me like some sheltered virgin. But I'd recommend holding out, there's better options. As he spoke, the guy actually winked at me. Might as well have screamed pick me. Big sis. Jesus fucking Christ. The corruption. The decadence. The sheer capitalist excess. God. I need to become the damn 1% myself. Riley. Have you decided yet? Not yet. I've only picked one. One's not enough? In games I play 1v5. And you want me to do 1v1 at the club? Hudson. No wonder they say sudden wealth ruins people. After a week drowning in luxury, I felt physically depleted. Still, I kept tabs on Hudson. True to form, he'd sweet-talked his dad into handing over 2 companies to practice with because nothing says training wheels like multi-million-dollar subsidiaries. Rich idiots and their idiot heirs, I swear. Life got so comfortable, I nearly forgot Gavin existed. Then he called. Riley. Have you learned your lesson yet? Ugh. Should have blocked this clown. Annoyed. I squeezed my hot secretary's abs for comfort. Yeah. I've learned. Learned that dumping his ass was the best decision ever. Truth is, I'd been swamped. After Hudson's 2-day serious businessman act for Daddy Ford, he went back to partying while I ran both companies. Exhausting, but rewarding. Old man Ford knew exactly who was really pulling the strings. Last week, he summoned me to Ford family headquarters. Nervous as hell. I expected anger, not him beaming at me like I was Hudson's future bride. Even after I denied it, he kept smirking like he'd solved some romantic puzzle. He told me that ever since his mother passed away, Hudson had been living like there's no tomorrow, never setting foot in the office. Just partying non-stop. The old man had tried everything from harsh lectures to heartfelt pleas. But nothing worked. Then a few months ago, when Hudson and I started collaborating, Mr. Ford noticed subtle changes. Even though Hudson still acts like a carefree playboy and rarely shows up at headquarters, he's finally taking the family business somewhat seriously. Progress is progress. My stomach dropped when Mr. Ford mentioned digging into my background, specifically my past with Gavin. Damn. That whole Gavin chapter was such a mess. But he waved it off, saying none of that mattered as long as I kept steering Hudson in the right direction. The unspoken deal was clear: play the reformer role, and he'd conveniently overlook my side hustle. Turns out, Mr. Ford knew about the company I'd quietly built using the hefty sum I'd gotten from Gavin. Sure, pulling strings at Hudson's firm could have padded my pockets, but skimming profits while working there felt like walking a tightrope. Why settle for scraps when I could build something real? My new venture specializes in supplying components and services to Ford family enterprises, with zero overhead for schmoozing clients. My bids undercut competitors effortlessly. Smart business. Really. I'd even looped Hudson in early. That guy just shrugged and said, "Money's money, better you get it than some stranger." Henceforth, I became his unofficial bro in his words. Which makes Mr. Ford's insistence that we're dating downright bizarre. What kind of boyfriend lets his girl grind 80-hour weeks while he's clubbing? Not that I'm complaining, this arrangement's golden for my ambitions. So I leaned into the mentor role hard. Hudson hits the bars? Cue random fire inspections. His yacht party? A mysterious power outage. After the third coincidence, he exploded in his Lambo, in over 2 decades of living. I've never seen this much bullshit pile up at once. Keeping straight-faced. I dropped the truth bomb. Ever wonder why your VIP venues suddenly attract so much official attention? Since when do cops hassle a Ford Air? And your prized yacht's maintenance crew, they'd never let systems fail unless. Watching the realization dawn on him was priceless. The game had changed. What the hell? How could there be a power outage? That's insane! I exclaimed. Hudson immediately went on high alert. Are you saying someone's trying to assassinate me? I stared blankly. Well, his stupidity had its advantages, at least he was easy to manipulate. I explained that since Hudson had never paid attention to the Ford family's business dealings, he wouldn't know their empire was crumbling. Our current ventures, though technically subsidiaries, still maintained crucial partnerships with Ford Enterprises. The truth was obvious, the Ford family's declining influence meant people no longer feared Hudson. They'd started neglecting his yacht maintenance requests. Soon enough, he'd become the guy getting kicked by strangers and peed on by stray dogs in back alleys. Notice how your father's been getting more gray hairs lately? Hudson paused, then reluctantly nodded. He's stressed. Exhausted. Imagine being his age, worthless heir. Failing business empire. I'd lose sleep too. Rare guilt flickered across Hudson's face. His lips pressed into a thin line before he frowned. Wait, how do you know about Dad's hair? I saw it on TV. I lied effortlessly. The truth? Mr. Ford looked nothing like a senior citizen. As patriarch of the Ford empire with an entire medical team at his disposal, the 60-something maintained jet black locks. Those gray hairs resulted from the secret salon session we'd arranged, as highlights to sell our narrative. Miraculously, Hudson skipped his usual partying that night, choosing to dine with his father at the family estate. Whatever heart-to-heart they had clearly worked, by midnight. Mr. Ford's secretary notified me to pack for accompanying Hudson to Ford Corporation headquarters. My own fledgling company got upgraded too, to minimize distractions from my Hudson wrangling duties. The Ford family injected capital, transforming our covert partnerships into official collaborations overnight. Industry sharks immediately recognized the move. Our little startup now bore the Ford insignia. Cha-ching! Promotion unlocked. With Ford-backed executives managing my operations, I focused fully on Hudson's education. His panic about family bankruptcy oddly fueled improvement. Delighting Mr. Ford. My bank account's cheerful growth notifications became daily motivation. As for Gavin, I'd almost forgotten that nuisance. After blocking his number, he resorted to hijacking colleagues' phones, Director Zhang, Director Li, Director Su, all sheepishly apologizing after silent calls. Sorry. Riley, Gavin borrowed my phone. Must've misdialed. Absolute psycho move. Who does that? But I wasn't ready to completely burn bridges with Gavin yet. Business is business. And the Cooper family's influence across the Southwest region remains substantial. Any expansion into that territory would inevitably intersect with their interests. While I could technically proceed without his cooperation, having him feel somewhat indebted to me would make operations infinitely smoother. So I let him have his little tantrums. When he started liking my tweets later, I didn't even bother blocking him. During idle moments, I'd casually post melancholic musings about fleeting youth while literally petting my golden retriever puppy. Gavin slid into my DMs repeatedly. Read receipts on. Replies off, pure psychological warfare to keep him guessing and remorseful. Just when I thought Gavin's theatrics peaked, Luna out-crazied him. She tweeted a provocative mirror selfie wearing silk lingerie that barely contained her assets. The real kicker? Gavin napping shirtless in her bed behind her. Caption: your eternal muse and lingering regret. I screenshot and exited so fast I nearly cracked my phone screen. One more second staring at that cringe fest and I'd need eye bleach. This desperate ploy made sense though. In the original storyline, after Luna's return from abroad where she schemed to have Gavin dump me, she'd spam me-only tweets chronicling their fake perfect romance, morning lattes, midday yacht trips, midnight hotel rendezvous. 3 posts daily. More consistent than sunrise. How did I know they were targeted? Post-reconciliation in the original plot. I'd stumbled upon her sneaky filter settings while using Gavin's phone. But even the book version never stooped this low. Guess my deviation from the script altered her villain arc too. Previously, this manipulative crap would have sent me spiraling. Not anymore. I tweeted the screenshot tagging Gavin, at Gavin Cooper friendly reminder, investors tend to frown upon CEOs who can't control their bedmates. Might want to manage your PR disasters before stock prices dip. Never expected my casual clapback to trend. Mid-strategy meeting. My assistant Carson rushed in boss. Hashtag control your woman Gavin is trending nationwide. You might want to check Twitter. Chaos. My notifications had exploded. Turned out Luna tried damage control with passive-aggressive tweets implying I was jealous. The comment section divided into Yas Queen Slay. That bitter old hag just can't handle your glow up. Versus say what you will. She's got a point. If the Ford family heir can't keep his mistress from flashing her tits online, how's he managing billion-dollar contracts? Old hag? I swiveled to Carson. Do I look ancient to you? Are you kidding? He snorted. That Hollywood director at last month's gala literally begged you to play a college valedictorian in his blockbuster. Right. My 7-figure annual upkeep on lasers, personal trainers, and that Swiss cellular renewal therapy better show. Carson speculated, maybe your corporate bio throws people off? He pulled up my profile, executive assistant to CEO. Ford Family Holdings. Ah. The PR team's recent proposal flashed through my mind, following the Grace family's playbook where C-suite execs turned themselves into viral marketing machines. Time to reconsider that branding strategy. At the time, I fully supported the proposal. The PR department proceeded to verify my social media account, just a simple authentication without even uploading a profile photo. But caught up in work, I completely forgot about it. Imagine my shock when a mere professional title made internet trolls assume I was some middle-aged hag. For the record, I'm actually a few years younger than Luna Pierce. Besides, life experience only makes women more captivating. This viral storm presented the perfect opportunity to craft my public image as Ford family's rising executive star. I immediately convened emergency meetings with marketing and PR teams. Overnight, we mapped out counter-strategies. The PR team booked a celebrity photographer for my new professional portraits, honestly. Even I was stunned by how fierce I looked. Following the plan, my personal account posted a single cryptic message, the past stays buried, but the future holds promise. This subtly hinted at my history as Gavin's ex, information bound to leak eventually. Better to control the narrative ourselves. As my tweet went live, our partnered influencers exposed my former relationship with Gavin while insinuating Luna might have been the homewrecker. Meanwhile, the corporate account flooded timelines with photos of me leading high-stakes meetings and press-worthy projects, cementing my reputation as Ford family's brilliant strategist. The polarized public opinion did a complete 180 degrees. Who's jealous now? All you Luna apologists better apologize to Queen Riley. Someone arrest Ford family's PR team for hiding this goddess. Riley is the brand. Stop drooling over her CEO Barbie looks and Google her credentials. You'll propose. Seriously though, how does anyone dump this for some basic first love? Typical male mentality, always chasing trash over treasure. Y'all celebrating here while Cooper family's stock tanks. Keep the drama coming. Bankrupt Cooper Corp by morning. Ladies! Hashtag cancel Gavin. Wonder where that cheater's hiding now. Bet he's choking on regret. As for Gavin's regrets? Unclear. But Cooper family's radio silence puzzled me. We'd even prepared crisis protocols for potential PR wars. The contingency plans gathered dust until I ran into Gavin himself at an exclusive gala in G-City the next evening. Hudson, attending as my +1, smirked when spotting Gavin across the ballroom. His company's stock chart looks greener than Shrek's swamp tonight. Still came crawling back to you? No idea why he's here. I muttered. A city was 800 miles away. And this event barely related to Cooper family's interests. Our questions answered themselves when Gavin marched straight toward us. It wasn't real. He blurted out. That photo Luna posted, she took it when I was drunk. We're not together. Riley. Never were. Seriously? Since when do I care about your flings? Come back. Riley. I know you're upset about Luna. Gavin. I cut him off. You could have married her for all I care. But let's get one thing straight. Before I could finish, Hudson slid an arm around my waist. His champagne flute clinking against mine. Apologies. Cooper. My CMO's schedule is booked solid, indefinitely. The unspoken message hung in the air as Gavin's face paled. Hudson's smirk deepened. Though if you're desperate for Ford family's PR advice, our consulting rates start at $2,000 hourly. Cashiers over there. I had no idea how many underhanded tricks Luna had been pulling behind your back. But I've already fired her from the Cooper family business. So don't worry. If you still want to work, the vice president position at Cooper Corp is yours. You know I'd give you anything. Cough. 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 I choked on my water. Seriously? Since when did Riley become a dumpster for recycled trash? And since when was a VP title at some corporate dynasty considered a grand prize? Sure. The Cooper family empire thrived in the original storyline, but only through Gavin's protagonist Halo and my idiotic heroine self-leeching resources from Hudson. Now, today's stock market plunge was just the beginning. Any CEO who can't manage his personal life or recognize snakes in his inner circle has no business leading a company. If I remember right, Gavin only came crawling back to me in the original plot after I'd returned to City A. Back then, I'd clawed my way up in City G alone, hunting jobs, moving apartments, dragging myself to clinics during fevers while he paraded Luna through luxury venues, showering her with jewels and tropical vacations. It was like he needed to overcompensate for their years apart, or maybe erase every trace of my presence from his life. By the time Gavin sought me out again, I'd already built a solid rapport with Hudson. When the Ford family expanded into City A, Hudson claimed unfamiliarity with the area and invited me to explore it with him. My reunion with Gavin happened when I'd finally shed my awkwardness and emerged polished, only to get tangled in his mess again. Luna stirred drama at every turn. Yet Gavin remained blind to her two-faced antics. He'd preach love for me but always defaulted to defending her. The original version of me might as well have been possessed, trapped in that toxic loop. Even advocating for Gavin's interests to Hudson. Ugh. Just thinking about it makes me want to scream at my past self. Maybe the author implanted some masochistic romance chip in my brain. Not anymore. Now that I'm awake, my standards aren't shackled to some predetermined plot. No more self-sabotage. I rejected Gavin firmly but diplomatically this time. Always leave room for future leverage. Right? Luna arrived as the gala ended. Gavin had ignored her calls until she forced his phone into shutdown mode. We spotted her at the entrance, barred by security. Her face flushed when she saw him. Gavin! Why aren't you answering? They won't let me, she froze mid-sentence upon noticing me. Fury erupting. So that's why. She's here. Luna jabbed a finger at me. You shameless leech. Already clinging to another man but still sniffing around Gavin? Thought you'd actually made something of yourself? Please, you're just riding coattails. Enough. Shut the hell up. By this time, people had started emerging from the venue, many casting curious glances our way. Gavin looked at Luna with visible embarrassment. He turned to me apologetically, about to speak, but I smiled and cut him off. Gavin, let me reiterate my sincere advice, keep your woman in check so she doesn't embarrass you in public. Passing Luna, who glared daggers at me, I corrected her. Miss Pierce, don't project your insecurities onto others. I have zero interest in Gavin. Let's be clear, tonight's event? You're just the arm candy he brought. I'm here as the host's invited business collaborator. Frankly, he didn't even want to bring you. My advice? Stop attacking other women. If I were you, I'd either dump this guy or actually use his resources to better myself. The valet had already brought my car around. I glanced questioningly at Hudson, who was still amused by the drama, his eyes crinkling with suppressed laughter. Go ahead, he said. My driver's right behind you, waiting at the red light. I remembered a scene from the original storyline. After reconciling with Gavin in that version, Luna's coquettish demands had convinced him to take her to an industry elder's golden wedding anniversary, the kind of event where you bring spouses, not flings. The host's daughter, my acquaintance, had offered to send me an invitation. Knowing Gavin's connection to the family and his attendance plans, I declined, saying I already had arrangements. Yet instead of inviting me, he'd shown up with Luna, their sickeningly sweet photos plastered across tabloids. Never again. Compared to that pathetic original version of myself, I much preferred being in the driver's seat, literally and metaphorically. Tonight called for celebration. Halfway home, I texted my assistant, book me a private lounge. How many companions? Came Sean's immediate reply. 7 to 8. Usual preferences. I kept Sean around not just for his Greek god physique, but for his ruthless efficiency. Though perhaps I should have specified he shouldn't take instructions too literally. Arriving at the venue, I froze. The entire lounge swarmed with nearly 80 model-tier men. The manager beamed. We gathered every top-tier talent in the city. I was about to call Sean when I noticed my typo from earlier, 70 to 80, instead of 7 to 8. The difference is 0 makes. Doing quick math, if each guy toasted me once, I'd need a stomach pump. I started making calls. Soon the place filled with my power circle, CEOs Yao, Xavier, and Owen, Erissa's Leah, Holly, and Mara. Turns out women network better over cocktails than boardrooms anyway. The top male models from all over G-City gathered that night, keeping my girl squad thoroughly entertained. For the next month, I rotated through closing deals with various executives. However, my legendary stunt of booking 80 male models in one evening somehow leaked. Unexpectedly, the first person confronting me about it was old Mr. Ford himself. Despite delivering 2 consecutive quarters of stellar financial reports for the Ford family patriarch, his dissatisfaction lingered. Miss Riley, you must understand the primary reason I brought you into Ford Enterprises. His fingers drummed the mahogany desk. Your recent behavior has become excessive. What reason? Because I'm exceptional at my job? I countered. My work speaks for itself. I've been instrumental in Hudson's professional growth. Do you truly believe my son follows your lead due to mere workplace competence? His laughter carried winter's chill. We both know why he's so accommodating. Because we convinced him the family business was collapsing? I shrugged. That charade served its purpose, didn't it? The patriarch's secretary materialized with a dossier that shattered my carefully constructed narrative. Pages detailing Hudson's discreet interventions and myself made success mocked my supposed independence. Our chance meeting in that VIP lounge, the suspiciously smooth launch of my boutique firm all bore traces of Ford family influence. Hudson's affection for you is genuine, the old man stated coldly. He's paved your path every step of the way. You'd do well to remember that. Ice clinked in his tumbler as he delivered the ultimatum. 2 options. Miss Riley. Marry Hudson and become a Ford matriarch, full boardroom privileges included, provided you adhere to family protocols. Or walk away completely, forfeiting everything we've granted. The patriarch's game became clear. Though the original storyline painted him as favoring his younger son, this ruthless maneuver surprised even me. Both choices meant surrender either to domestic confinement or professional annihilation. I declined both. My stilettos clicked against marble as I rose. If you've issues with your heir, take it up with him directly. The shattering porcelain behind me underscored ruptured decorum. I didn't flinch. Hudson intercepted me at the penthouse elevator bank. Our silent standoff lasted entire heartbeats before he confessed everything. The dossier's contents were true. My hard-won empire stood on gilded stilts he'd quietly installed. How tragic. I laughed bitterly. To discover my crown jewels are handouts from Prince Charming. Yet the revelation changed nothing. I'd still ascended higher than the original plot's doomed heroine. You shouldn't have done this, Hudson. His fingers grazed my wrist, a billionaire's touch lighter than moth wings. Every king needs his queen. Riley. Even. His lips ghosted my temple. Especially when she's busy building her own throne. If the original novel portrayed Hudson as merely devoted in his role as the second male lead, then based on what I'm experiencing now, he's taking simp behavior to a whole new level. Seriously. Who'd believe a man would silently support his crush's career while watching her juggle multiple romantic interests? If I told you I lived through a lifetime where you were torn between me and Gavin, where you lost your freedom, even your life, for him, Hudson met my gaze. Riley. I'd rather let you live freely in whatever way makes you happy than lose you completely. Riley, that's what he called me in the original story. But in reality, he'd only ever addressed me as Riley Grace. MS. Grace. Or bro. Haha. Just messing with you. Look how pale you turned. Hudson's booming laughter shattered the tension. Jesus. Dude. You scared me half to death. I playfully punched his shoulder. 6 months later, news broke about the Cooper family divesting assets. Though their PR team claimed strategic refocusing, everyone in the industry knew the truth. For 2 years, Cooper's heavily invested new ventures had been crippled when the Ford family swooped in to acquire crucial patents. Combined with stagnant growth in their core business, the Cooper empire was crumbling. Truthfully, even a weakened giant like the Coopers shouldn't have fallen this far. But they hadn't accounted for my insider knowledge. In the original plot, as the female lead who'd bent over backwards helping Gavin, I knew every weakness in their operations. Add to that Hudson's resources? Bankrupting the Coopers became inevitable. Hudson and I celebrated over drinks at the Riverside Lounge. I'd left Ford Corporation months ago. He'd taken the CEO position, his father's condition for leaving me alone. Sometimes I wondered if old Mr. Ford's earlier hostility had just been a ploy to force his son into the role. Regardless, our partnership thrived. When I departed Ford Corp., my division had delivered 3 consecutive quarters of profit growth. Now I focused entirely on my own company. While we'd initially piggybacked on Ford projects, I'd since diversified. Relying solely on others is just asking for trouble. The Cooper assets we acquired? That was personal. In the original timeline, Hudson had surrendered that sector to Gavin for my sake. Now I bought it back for him. Let's be real, Gavin basically gifted you those assets given Cooper's current state. Hudson swirled his whiskey. Wonder if he'd stroke out knowing you're transferring them to me? I shrugged. Maintaining surface civility with Gavin had certainly simplified things. I ran into Luna at an industry expo in City A. She was negotiating with a client, barely containing a victory squeal when they signed. The fragile flower from before had transformed, her clothes less polished but energy crackling like live wires. A monsoon greeted us at exit time. My assistant was across town. Ride-share wait times hit 60 minutes. And then, there was Luna, materializing like the answer to every drowned rat's prayer. Back at the gallery. I thought I'd mistaken you for someone else. But it really was you. At this hour, with weather like this, catching a cab's nearly impossible. I turned to Luna, who abruptly tilted her chin up, avoiding eye contact. Of course. If you'd rather wait an hour or two in this hellish weather, be my guest. Lakeview Manor. What? My address. The drive with Luna remained silent. I figured she still detested me, just as I still couldn't stand her either. As we neared my destination, her sarcasm resurfaced. Those sky-high stilettos you parade around in daily? One misstep and you'll break your neck. Normally my driver handles these outings. Can't say I'm accustomed to walking. Today's clearly an exception. I shot back. Riley, you really have a way with words. A deafening horn ripped through the stormy night. An 18-wheeler careened across lanes toward us. Yet this woman who claimed to hate me death gripped the steering wheel, using her side of the car to take the brunt of the collision. Metal screamed as our world inverted. Time dissolved. An hour? A second? Riley, get out. Luna's weakened voice came from the driver's seat. Through my blurred vision, I saw her bloodied form crumpled against shattered glass. Shut up. I fumbled with my jammed seatbelt. The car's twisted frame trapping me. Switching tactics. I reached for hers. Riley, leave me. Warm liquid trickled into my eyes, painting everything crimson. Luna, shut your damn mouth. Riley, I never stopped resenting you. Her labored breaths punctuated the words. Given another chance, I'd probably still envy you, still play those petty games. But God, how I loved watching you shine. A wet cough. Hated you, but thank you. Riley, you made me want to take control, rewrite my own story. Her trembling fingers brushed mine. Turns out, living authentically, it's liberating. Luna, we're not making it out. I know, her sob choked through broken glass. Should have never offered that ride. My one decent act might get you killed. Next lifetime, I'll repay you properly. Idiot. Luna strained against her restraints with fading strength, desperately tugging at my seatbelt latch. The acrid smell hit first, gasoline pooling beneath us from the ruptured tanker. White-hot flames engulfed our final embrace. Silence. I jolted awake. Phantom gasoline still burning my nostrils. The world seemed to fall silent. A dog-eared romance novel titled Redemption Through Suffering lay on my nightstand. I flipped through the pages. The original storyline remained unchanged. Had it all been a dream? Tragic heroines never get fairy tale endings, they waste away pining for love. Die young with regrets. Just a dream. Reality would never be so kind. Powerful men never relinquish privilege willingly. Those bathing in fame and fortune don't fixate on one woman. You won't see them groveling after losing some girl. If given the choice between caging a songbird or becoming its stepping stone, which self-respecting alpha male would pick martyrdom? Both the novel and my delusions had romanticized male nature while underestimating feminine strength. Barefoot, I carried the book to the bathroom. The lighter's flame caught the pages, devouring inky characters until all that remained were ashes swirling down the drain. I'd incinerated that toxic narrative. Yet the anger still simmered. Stories shouldn't propagate such lies. Opening my laptop, I began typing Riley Grace's story. My Riley, brilliant, tenacious, magnetic. She attracts worthy partners but treats romance as seasoning for life's banquet. Men like Gavin Cooper or Hudson Ford exist. Yes. But strip away the rose-tinted prose and you'll find Gavin's mediocrity disguised as confidence. Hudson's commitment issues masquerading as charm. Powerful men don't bargain with influence for affection. Riley knows this. She navigates their honeyed traps like minefields. using every resource to scale her Everest. The climb leaves scars that harden into armor, each mark a medal of honor. Critics call her alpha female like it's an insult, sneer about her ruthless ambition. She wears their slurs as laurels. When you're the hawk riding thermals, the yapping from below becomes white noise. Her eyes stay fixed on distant peaks where earth meets sky. The end.